So triad, there's 3 elements to them, okay? The first element, probably the most common element, is people who are very, very low in empathy, okay? So that's an agreeability trait, or moreover, a lack of agreeability. But you're so low in agreeability and empathy to the point that you have no empathy, okay? So you can't really put yourself in the shoes of the other person, okay? So that's also known as psychopathy, okay? So we're talking about a very extreme degree, okay? So that's the first element of the Dark Triad, okay? The second element is narcissism, okay? So you can formulate narcissism in different ways. The way I like to think about it is people who are narcissistic feel entitled, that they are deserving to special kind of treatment, and should be able to take shortcuts. They're sort of, they should be privileged in certain ways over other people, okay, over the masses. All right. They tend to be very confident, but they don't necessarily have the competence that backs up the confidence.
So they've got the grandiosity and the bravado, and they can put on a show, and there's no substance.
Yeah, exactly. And so people tend to find that out too late, the hard way. All right. And the third element of the Dark Triad is what's called Machiavellianism. So basically what that means is it's a willingness to deceive. Okay. It's almost like lies are a sort of a default way of being. Okay. And often they use a process called gaslighting. Okay, and there's lots of ways to describe gaslighting, but a simple way is it causes confusion in the other person, and the person starts to doubt are they correct? Are they thinking the right thing?
So it's like a deliberate maneuver to manipulate someone else's perception of reality.
Exactly. Well,
to cause confusion and doubt.
Exactly, but I think deliberate, yes, but also maybe no. I think it's almost an instinct. They just do it. Okay, it's how their way of being. Okay. So these guys are very interested in power. Okay, so they're interested in going up. Okay, because there's more status there, and that meets their narcissistic need. Okay, they're very happy to steal credit from below. Okay, and if someone below them makes them look bad, they're very happy to crap on them, get them out of the way. All right. So even let's say we were working at the same level together in an organisation, and I had Dark Triad traits. If you were shining, to me that would be shameful because you're highlighting that you're better than me. So then I would be out to get you. All right. So that's how it works in sort of Dark Triad kind of terminology.
And particularly within organisations.
Yeah. Well, indeed. So. We'll get to organisations in a tick, right? Now, in terms of how frequent they are, do you know what the frequency of these guys are?
What?
It's thought to be around 5%. So 1 in 20 people are thought to have this. Okay.
So if you've got 20 friends and all of them are normal, it
depends on who you choose to be friends with, I guess. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually a little bit higher than that, because these guys do fly under the radar. Okay, the more sophisticated you are, the less likely it is that it's obvious to other people that that's going on unless they've known you for long enough. Okay, so let's call it sort of 5%. All right. Now there's a special kind of Dark Triad, right? And these are guys that are sadistic as well. All right. So the way I'm defining sadism is they are people who derive positive emotion, like yay, this feels awesome, from inflicting negative emotion.
Right? So you get pleasure out of making me feel like crap.
So if you're Dark Triad and also sadistic, I mean, these guys wreak havoc. You know, they're I mean, that's the sort of malevolence incarnate, if you like. All right. Okay. So that's the sort of nuts and bolts of Dark Triad. Right. Now, I think it's critical to have an awareness that these guys exist, because if 1 in 20 people are that, you're going to encounter them, and these are the guys that very often cause people to have PTSD. Okay. So the point of this is, if you aren't aware of these guys, that's a susceptibility. Okay, so we want you not to have that susceptibility. We want you to have your eyes open. All right. Now that's all well and good, 1 in 20. Okay, but they aggregate. These people aggregate. Okay. So if you think about they tend to gravitate to situations where there is scope to attain power, because that's their whole thing. They're not into service. They're not into serving the community. So some people join the police force, for example, because they want to serve the community, but others join the police force because they want some power. Because you get power day one. Gun, badge, boss people around. Day one. Well, not quite, but something like that.
I get what you mean.
Okay, so I don't have data on this, but my intuition is at a junior kind of level in the police force, you've probably got more than 5% of people who are this. Okay, 5% is the population rate. My guess is at low levels in the police force, it might be 10 or even more. Okay, maybe 15%.
Because it's an industry or an organisation that has a lot to offer
these people,
personality types, so they would flock towards that.
Yeah, and I think the other big industries, organisations. Okay, probably the military. Okay,
Yeah.
you don't get power as quick in the military though. Okay, so my guess is that's not as appealing.
Politicians?
100%.
I see some
former
presidents in this.
Yes. But that's where the power really is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where you can wield all the influence. So that's what they're going for. And if you look at the way politicians behave, there's a lot of this going on.
Yeah.
I mean, the Machiavellianism, that's politics.
Yes, we just call it propaganda.
Yeah, well, okay. All right, so think about organisations. So at a junior level, they're in the minority.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, as you go up the ranks, potentially they start to aggregate because they're sort of stealing the credit from other people. Okay. They're burning out the other kind of the agreeable types are getting burnt out. The people with high neuroticism, they're
people with high conscientiousness, people trodden on.
Yeah, absolutely right. They're stealing the credit of the conscientious people. So as you go up the ranks, you've still got So here there's a majority of, say, not dark triads, and here they're starting to thin out because they're sort of being vampirized,
Sure.
right, by the dark triad types. And as you go up, there's plenty of them up at the senior levels, okay? So I've asked the following question I work with a lot of police, and typically they're police who've done 10, 20 years of service, okay? And they have sacrificed, and they got in for serving the community, all right? Now, when these guys flame out, it's almost always, it's not the situations that happen, the jobs, it's the management structure that gets them.
Yeah.
Okay, almost always. And that's because they aggregate at the top. So by the time you get to sergeant level, all the guys above, not all the guys, a lot of the guys above you,
let's be clear,
is that.
Yeah.
Okay, so they get hammered.
Yeah.
Okay, because now they're exposed to that enriched population. And the other thing about these guys is they tend to form these sort of, it's not like they have dark triad meetings, right? But they kind of know, they sort of know who are the good guys, like, those goody two-shoes.
The do-gooders.
Yeah, the no good do-gooders, right? And they know who the guys that are a bit more like them. So they tend to sort of, bring each other up the chain as well.
Yeah.
Okay, at the expense of the other guys. All right? Yeah. So this is, obviously this can evolve into corruption and so forth and so on. All right? But, so this is important to be aware of. So if you find yourself, okay, in an organisation, you're now mid-level or so, you're encountering a lot of these people potentially in politics and maybe in the police force, okay? I guess what I'm saying is you can't always rely on your managers to have your back, okay? Because if it's in their interest to screw you over, right, they may well do so. And I see it all the time, all right? So I guess this is my community service announcement, all right? Okay, these guys are a major source of PSD, and if you're naive to that, okay, then you're in a perilous situation.
Yeah. Okay.
All
right. Leave us some comments.
Yeah, I hope that's helpful data. We're putting together a bit of a book on PTSD, and this is going to be in a bit more depth. All right, so thanks for sticking around.
Bye.